The Norfolk Catholic Knights came up 5 points shy of an undefeated season and a Class C1 state championship in 2015 with a 32-27 loss to Columbus Scotus in the state title game. Nonetheless, it was a great year for head coach Jeff Beller and the Knights program.
I think we had a great year. You know, obviously we set very high goals. We wanted to try to win the state championship. Our guys played well for us all year long. We won every game until that game and then came up 5 points short. But we broke down in some areas that aren't maybe real typical in a title type game. But again, I think you have to give the opponent a lot of credit too. Sometimes they have something to do with you breaking down. So our kids never quit in that game, played hard, and again, we didn't win that game, but we were state runner-up. So, you know, I think it was a very good year.
Nebraska signee David Engelhaupt was a big part of the team's success last year and will go down in history as one of the best to ever play at Norfolk Catholic.
Well, David ranks right up there with any of the ones that we've had. He's a tremendous football player and been very good for our program for the 4 years he's been involved. He played some on special teams as a freshman, and that team won the state championship. And then he was a team leader for really the next 3 years. And this year really was a leader on both sides of the ball and just played very well for us. And I'm very happy that he's going to be a Husker. I think it worked out well for him, and I think I'm thinking that he'll be able to contribute for them.
Engelhaupt had been a long-time Wyoming commit, but a late offer by Nebraska really shook things up and changed his life for the better.
It's been crazy. A lot of things happen, and a lot of things I didn't see happening 2 months ago, and it's turned my life, or probably pretty much a 180 right now. But I like it this way.
David explains how it all went down 2 days before signing day.
Yeah, Coach Langsdorff called me during basketball practice, but I couldn't get to the phone, so I called it back, not knowing who it was, especially like an Oregon number. I was like, who? Like, what is this? Who's calling me right now? And so it was a real big surprise when it was Coach Langsdorff, and I couldn't really believe it as much at first, but it all turned out true, and it was great.
Well, I think David was always on their radar. I think he did well for them at camp, and they had called me and said, you know, we really like what we see, but we're unsure if we're going to be able to offer or not, depending on our scholarship situation. And so I told him I didn't think David would walk on because he had an offer from the University of Wyoming that he verbally accepted, and it happened very late where I think they maybe had someone that they thought might be coming decide not to come, and David was next up. And I think that kind of happens in the recruiting process, and so it worked out for him. And although I know it was still a hard decision because Wyoming treated him very well, and he knew their coaches and enjoyed their coaches, and I think he would have been fine playing there. But his first choice, he never hid that from anyone, that his first choice was always the University of Nebraska, and many of our kids grow up, they'd like to be a Husker if they have that opportunity, so it worked out for him.
I called Coach Fuchs first about it, and it was tough, like, even explaining to him. That's when I haven't made a decision yet. And I can already kind of tell like the disappointment in his voice when I was talking to him. And it was a tough decision. And then calling Coach Ball the next day, telling him I was going to decommit and then go to Nebraska was also pretty hard for me.
Nebraska wants David to play in that H-back role like how Andy Janovich played last year in Coach Langsdorff's system.
I'm really looking forward to playing offense at the next level. Playing like a tight end position sounds crazy. Really fun to me, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward just to being in the Nebraska atmosphere and the fan base here.
And David says things couldn't have worked out any better.
It's been real good to me this year. I mean, like I said before, it's nothing like I thought it'd be. Like, I came in the senior year with all these expectations of different things happening, and then seeing how it really ended up and how God worked out in it is crazy.
I think it's big for our community, very big for our school. There's a lot of excitement. We have a lot of guys that load up Saturday, guys and gals, and they got their red on and they're going down to Lincoln. So, you know, it's huge for us, and we'll be excited for that as a school system, for any of our players that go anywhere. But obviously, we have one major university in our state, and that's the one a lot of us get behind. So that's great for our school system and great for our community.
Moving forward, the Knights now must reload for the 2016 season, and Coach Beller has some very good young talent to build around, including class of 2019 offensive lineman Ethan Piper and running back Dylan Couts.
Ethan Piper's an offensive lineman for us and a big kid. You know, he's probably 6'3", 245 right now in that range. I think has the ability will probably grow, and we could see him being a 6'5", 6'6" guy, and you know, depending 260, 270 in that range, and runs extremely well. Started for us as an offensive lineman as a freshman, played some defense. I think the sky's the limit for him in terms of what he'll be able to do. But again, as you said, it's early in his career. That'll be a growing process. We'll try to make steps with him all that we can as coaches, put him in the right situation, get him out in front of people so they can take a look. But I think he has very good capabilities to go on and help someone as he grows and matures. Dylan Couts is a running back for us. And again, Dylan's probably 5'8", 155 pounds, but his biggest attribute is his speed. He's as a junior high athlete, ran 10.8 in the 100 meters. For us, ran 4.4 in the 40 at the start of football season. Went over 1,000 yards as a rusher for us as a freshman, which doesn't happen very often. Sharing time with David. So I think, again, the key with him is his speed. Now, when you get to that high level, you just don't drop those times a lot. But if we're talking a young man that runs in that 10.6 to 10.5 area, that's pretty elite in terms of speed. And so I think that will open some doors for him as an athlete.
Reporting from Norfolk Catholic High School for HuskerOnline.com, I'm Greg Peterson.